Johanna.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I have another journal collection to share with you guys. So this is the next collection that I'm going to be selling on my website. This set is a little bit different because it's not my bigger hardcover journals that I typically tend to do. Instead, it's like a little bundle set that includes notebooks, paper pack, scrap packs and scrap rolls, or sort of, I guess, my take on snippet rolls. So before I show you each little piece, I just wanted to talk a little bit about the ideas behind this collection. So if you've been following me for quite a while, you may remember back in sort of the beginning days of my channel, I shared some junk journal notebooks that had this sort of scrappy style cover, and so those covers were made up of paper scraps and they were sort of collaged over the cover. And I wanted to do like a fresh take on that idea and recreate it in a newer version, so that's what I've done. And so these covers for the notebooks in this collection are inspired by those old original notebook covers. So they're a little bit different, they're maybe a little bit new and improved. And so the difference is I've done the same sort of collaging with the scrap papers, but I've also embossed over the entire thing so it has a bit more texture to it. And I've also done stitching both horizontally and vertically across the cover so that it has sort of like a quilted look to it as well. And I've done that on each cover. So in this collection there are 10 sets that will be available, and they each have sort of their own little colour scheme or little theme going on. So as well as the paper scraps on the cover, there's also one piece of trim on each cover. This one was upside down, but there's also a piece of trim on each cover, so just also adds a little bit of extra texture and interest to the covers as well. So I am going to show you each book sort of individually a little bit, or at least show you each individual cover and sort of theme that's going on, but I just wanted to show you how this set is going to come together. So each set will come in a bag pretty much exactly like this, same fabric, and inside the set you get one notebook, one paper pack and one little snippet roll or scrap roll, just like this. And what I'm actually going to do is the listings are going to be distinguished by the journal covers, because I feel like that's the focal point of the set. So if you are interested in purchasing a set, choose by the journal cover, and I'll team with it the snippet roll and the scrap pack that I feel like matches best, because it's too hard to sort of make it make you be able to choose which is which and even be able to tell which is which just by the paper packs and the snippet rolls. So those will sort of be picked more at random. When you purchase, you get to pick by the actual notebook cover, because I think that's going to be the easiest way. So the paper packs are just like this. They're all a little bit different. Inside you do get mostly scrap papers, so pieces of sort of rectangular shaped scrap papers, but you also get some other things in there like postcards. There's a little kitty cat to cut apart, there's some journal cards, some vintage photos, some vintage paper, just some sort of random bits of paper that you can either use in your own personal journals, you can use them in these notebooks, or you can use them to make other things. So there's a nice variety of scraps in each set. And the scrap rolls are, like I said, they're kind of my take on a snippet roll. I just thought that a really good way to use up some of my scraps would be to stitch together a roll of various pattern papers. And so each roll is 2 meters long and about 3 inches wide, and so you get a big variety of different pattern papers throughout the roll. So each pattern is sort of stitched together. There's also some little snippets of washi tape, and I've also put them through an embossing folder in some sections so they have a little bit of texture and interest to them as well. I'm going to have a tutorial coming on my channel in the next couple of days of how you can make your own little scrap roll. They're super easy to make actually, they're just a little bit time consuming, but I think they're a nice little way to put your scraps together into something that's a bit more usable and a little bit more appealing. So I really like how these turned out. So I'll just put the scrap packs aside and the snippet rolls aside as well, so I can show you the journals. So each journal sort of has its own colour theme for the cover especially. So let me try and show you the entire collection. So I've got red, yellow, green, blue, purple, pink. This one is like a pastel pink and minty colour. And then this one I wanted to keep quite fun and playful. So I teamed different colours together, like the bright blue, green, red. And I think that just gives a really playful sort of vibe to this one, which I think is really cute. Then we also have these two here, which have a more muted sort of vintage theme going on, but one of them is more travel related. So this one has the sort of matte paper and just the different travel imagery going along with this one. So that one's got a bit of a travel theme, and then this one just has more of a vintage feel to it. All of the journals also have a different coloured closure. So for the closures I did seam binding, and this seam binding, all of the seam binding is from my Scrap Cabin shop, which is an Etsy shop that I'm going to link below. So Erin, the owner of the shop, actually contacted me to see if I would like to try out some of her seam binding. She has such a nice variety of colours, so of course I said yes. I love using seam binding for closures. You guys have seen me do it before on previous collections many times. So yeah, of course I said yes. She sent me a bunch of different packs to try, and I also purchased some as well because I couldn't choose. The colours are just really beautiful and ended up complementing this collection really well. So I'm going to leave a link to her shop down below. She is lovely, her seam binding is beautiful, so go check it out. And now I think I'm just going to show you in one or two of the books in detail. They're all really similar on the inside. They all have the same sorts of papers. I even tried to use the same variety of scrapbook papers and stuff, so there's not that much difference on the inside. Some of the differences are obviously the colours, so they all have these tabs, and I chose different laces that complemented that particular book. So for example, the yellow one has more yellowy toned tabs, the blue one has more bluey toned tabs, and the same thing for the pinks and all the other colours. So they have the same sorts of tabs, but I did try to choose colours that went with that particular cover. And the other thing to mention that I almost forgot is on the closure of each book, I made these little pieces. Here with grunge board or grunge paper, which is a Tim Holtz product. And I don't know if it's still available. I haven't seen it for a while. I assume that it would be, but it's just like this really flexible sort of material it feels like a mix between paper and fabric. It's kind of like got this weird sort of leathery feel to it, but I decided to make this little piece on the closure, and it's just attached with eyelets, so you can take it all the way off the closure if you want to. It just threads on through onto the seam binding. So I stained them brown so they look a little bit leathery, and just stitched around like a little border. And I also found these really cute little rose studs, I guess little press studs. So they had these little sharp prongs on them, so you could just press them through and then fold them over. And so I attached one of those onto each piece as well, and I really like how it turned out. Just gives a nice little extra texture and a nice little detail to add to the cover. So yeah, these notebooks measure about 5 by 7 inches as well, so they're a nice little size, but they're not tiny, so they still have plenty of room to add full size like 6 by 4 photos and stuff inside. And so for each book I added an eyelet on the back and an eyelet on the front, so you can just thread your seam binding through, or you could even take this off and switch it out if you wanted to, and you could make it tie. I personally like to wrap it the whole way around to keep it closed, because then you can have this pretty little piece displaying on the front, but as I said, you can actually remove this if you want to as well. So when we open the notebooks up, on the inside cover I've just stitched on some plain fabric, so that goes the entire way across each book. And down the spine you've got some lace. Also on the outside you've also got lace, and that just helps to sort of add some strength to the spine where you've got the stitching, just to make sure that everything is going to stay nice and sturdy and strong. So as I said, inside each book they're very similar, so I probably don't need to show you inside each individual book, but they have the same sort of selection of papers. So we've got some craft paper. I've stitched some pockets into each book. So this is a fabric pocket, and then just tucked some different bits and pieces into the pocket. So this is like some vintage notebook paper. Then we've got some scrapbook paper here. It has this stitched pocket. So this is like a little sort of like glassine pocket. And I just tucked a vintage photo in there. All the photos that I included are vintage landscape photos. So here we've got some vintage sort of grid paper and another pocket. This pocket's made with some children's dictionary paper. And then over here we've got a envelope sewn onto the page, so this just folds out so you can use that as a page and also tuck something inside it. There's some writing paper. This is a pocket, and they each have a vintage linen from my Etsy shop, which I printed out and just sewn into a pocket. This is a cute little vintage playing card that tucks in there. So vintage writing paper. And this is a nice full-sized pocket with a postcard. Tucks in there. Writing paper again. So ledger paper. Little pocket here with some bits and pieces tucked inside. More craft paper. More pockets. Bits and pieces tucked inside. Some matte paper. And there's another vintage landscape photo, and then this is sewn along the edge so you can use that as like a little tuck spot as well. You can journal underneath there. We've got a fold out page, another pocket there, another fold out page there, so a ledger fold out page, more writing paper, more little vintage bits and bobs tucked in. This is a pocket that is sort of open out the whole way, so you can tuck really big bits and pieces in there. So I just put a Disney postcard and this little vintage calendar in there. More scrapbook paper, more writing paper. That one folds out. And this is a Project Life card that I sewed into a big full-size pocket. It's got like an index card tucked inside, and then more of the same sort of thing. They each have a little CD envelope as well, so again it's a nice fold out, but if you tuck something in there it'll have like a window, which is a really cute spot to put like a photo or something like that. And then there is the back. So all of the journals are very, very similar on the inside, so I'm not going to sit here and show you inside each one because we'll be here all day long. But I just wanted to, I'll give you a quick peek inside this one as well so you can see what I mean. They're made very, very similarly. I even tried to keep, for the most part, the order of the signature the same. So yeah, they're very, very similar. I've obviously chosen different patterns and things that sort of match well with that particular cover, but for the most part I've used all the same types of papers and everything. So there's not too much variety between each book. It's mostly the external cover. So that is my collection that I finally got finished. I actually started making the rolls for this collection last year, like probably mid last year or early last year. And then I put it to the side because I had other things that I had to get finished first. And so I really, really wanted to get this whole set finished early this year so that I could start on some new ideas. I'm really happy with how this collection turned out. At the time of filming this video, I don't actually have the date and the day and the time set that I'm going to have them available. They will be available on my website, so I'll have that link down below, and I'll have in the description box the time and everything that they're going to be available. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, you can leave them down in the comments below. Thank you for stopping by my channel today, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.